Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, that dream of all dreams, 3 years on a cruise ship. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's even going to be 1 day on a cruise ship for those folks. We have our first cruise of the season that said in New Zealand, yep, you cannot come in. Big trend last year, lots of cruise ships got caught off guard. And now we got our first one this year, as well as, believe it or not, another report of bed bugs coming from a P&O cruise ship. And the cruise line says, we're perplexed. We have no idea where people are getting these bugs bites from. So one of those big cruises that a lot of people have been talking about, where you can buy residences on the cruise ship, or you can sign up for this in one particular 3-year sailing. And they, well, it's called Life at Sea Cruises, and they were postponing it and saying, then there were all of a sudden reports come out that they don't even have the ship yet, even though it was supposed to sail earlier this month. And then they said, no, it's just the finances, the paperwork. Well, after a few more weeks of complete silence from the company, yeah, they had to admit they ain't got no ship. So it's kind of hard to do a 3-year cruise if you don't actually have the ship to sail on for those 3 years. So no, they are now saying that they will refund everybody. Who knows how long that may take, and if there's any court cases to come. If you've also been one of those people who signed up, a year and a half ago, and you signed up for $10, $20, $30, $40, $100,000, maybe you might want some of that interest money back that you should have been being paid all this time as well. So very disappointing for a lot of those people, but the company says they are refunding people's money, which I'm sure a lot of people will be thankful for, that they just didn't declare bankruptcy and then not give anybody any money back. That's the biggest fear when you have this kind of investment in long term, and it's kind of a risky thing because there aren't very many ships that have actually set sail that are resident ships. I believe the World is one of the only ones out there sailing currently, and the rest are all promising to sail. Well, we'll see what happens with that. And then we have our first cruise ship of the season, the Pacific Adventurer. And P&O's Pacific Adventurer. And, well, they picked up people in Sydney on their way to a New Zealand cruise. And they were supposed to go to an area and have their hull cleaned and then head off into New Zealand. But they had some rough weather, and so they couldn't get divers out to clean the hull. And so their entire itinerary had to be changed, and they were basically, now they're heading off to Tasmania area instead of New Zealand, and passengers are absolutely furious that they're not going to. The entire trip of where they were supposed to go has now been changed because the cruise ship hadn't had its hull cleaned yet before passengers were picked up. Many are saying, well, why wasn't this done before we had to step on board? So if it couldn't be done, we would know ahead of time. You could have canceled the cruise. We could have canceled the cruise. Many of the people who are sailing on the ship are residences in Australia, and so it wouldn't have been that big a deal to cancel. Like, it's not like they all have huge hotel bills and flight bills and stuff like that. Most of them were getting there locally, and yeah, that's not going to happen because they said, no, well, we made arrangements to do it. Now, they did say the cruise line warned passengers that because of the strict guidelines that New Zealand has, there is a chance that the itinerary will change. They didn't tell them that they hadn't cleaned the hull yet, and that they were planning to clean the hull before they got there, and that's the part that didn't get, it's one thing to fail an inspection, it's another to, have it planned while passengers were on board. So, yeah, a lot of people were mad. Some people were saying to the people at the front desk and everything, you know what? No, just take us back to Sydney. We don't want to be on the ship. We don't want to go there. Give us our money back. drop us off back at Sydney. And I've never seen that amount of anger that I've heard coming from passengers on this ship. Itinerary changes all the time, storms get in your way, things like that. However, last year was an eye-opening warning for everybody sailing into New Zealand. Get your hulls cleaned ahead of time, get your ship certified, and then you won't have any problems, because numerous trips were delayed or canceled last year because of that. So now people are expecting the ships to be on top of it. They're not expecting them to schedule hull cleanings in the middle of a trip on the way to New Zealand. And that's what has passengers very, very angry right now going forward. And yeah, in a way I can't blame them. Would I be demanding all my money back? Probably not, but I can see where some anger definitely will come into play here. And the cruise line says that they have offered compensation to the passengers. However, we have not been told yet what that compensation was. Was it onboard credits? Was it future cruise credits on another sailing? We don't know. Is it a discount on another sailing? We'll have to wait and see until more details come out in the future. And then guess what? We're not done yet, because the cruise line's having another trouble because a fourth couple has now come through with complaints about bed bug bites on the exact same ship. So previously there was one couple who brought it up, and then two other couples came forward after that story came out, and they reported it to the news media, who had not yet reported which cabin or anything that this was all part of. Well, it turns out the other two couples were in the exact same cabin. Now, there's no report yet if this fourth one that's reporting on it has come from the same cabin or not, but they said they were covered in bed bugs and had to get medically treated as well on this. And P&O has come out and said, look, we've gone into the cabin, we've checked the cabin, we've thoroughly cleaned the cabin, we've inspected the cabin, we cannot find any sort of bed bug infestation or even a sign that there are bed bugs in that cabin or even on the ship anywhere. They said it's a mystery to us how it's happening or what's going on. And it just seemed awful funny that, it was three people, different sailings in the same cabin. Now, is it possible that those bugs are in some place, like not normally found, normally they're found in beds, right? They're found in the mattresses, they're found in the corners of the sheets, places like that. Carpets, sometimes if it's like an old couch or a chair, like material, they can get into the corners of those around the cushions and things like that as well. However, they have been known to also get into a carpeted area and maybe in a spot between the walls where they're not seen. And but normally there's some kind of evidence. There's a rusty film that comes across that colors the sheets in the area that they've been infected in. There's usually something. And when people are normally bitten, and that there are traces of blood, because that's what they're doing. They're draining your blood when they're biting you, and that's what they're living on. And there's little reddish hue if there's a lot of infestation in there. But P&O says, look, we've even inspected this. We don't want this to happen. It's not like we're not looking for it. And, people have reported that it's there. We would tell you that it was there and that we've solved it. But we cannot find any evidence of it whatsoever. So we'll see if there's going to be a fifth one in the future that announces it. And I'll let you know about the compensation for the ship going to New Zealand and those angry passengers. I've seen some Facebook posts now, absolutely furious about it. I don't know. I've never seen such anger over a canceled cruise before. And I think it's all because they expected that inspection to be done before they even stepped foot on the ship, and I can't blame them for that. Now, a quick note. Today I am in Cozumel, Mexico, and as many of you have seen and noticed, when I'm in my office, I went and I purchased a hat rack. And my hat rack, if I'm looking at the camera right now, I believe would be on this side. I think it's on this side of my ship models now, because people are giving me hats and things like that along the way. I have my Cartagena hat, and so I said I'll buy myself a hat rack, and I can start to buy hats that, you know, represent different areas when I get there, right? Which, you know, if I go back to France, I can get the beret. There's different places that the hats are very distinguished. Go back to England, maybe a top hat, right? Something cool, something that will distinguish different areas of the world that I've been to. And, well, I found one for here, although I might have gone just a little bit over the top with this one. Hola! This is hard. This is like a rock hard thing that I'm on there. But I saw it. It's like $15. I said, this'll look good up on there. People will definitely know what country I came from when they see it. But I don't think I could ever wear it. Man, that's hard on the head. But it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And 15 bucks. Can't go wrong. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.